Have you ever wondered if there are any prerequisites for understanding Vedic knowledge? Let's ask the expert, Dr. Nagendra sir, a renowned medical doctor and a Vedic scholar. Namaste sir. Like always, it's an honor to have you on our show.
Namaste.
Kindly guide us. Is there any prerequisite or foundational knowledge that is required for anybody who is aspiring to pursue the Vedic knowledge?
So the foundation or the basic prerequisite is aspiration itself. As you said, aspiring for Veda itself is a prerequisite.
Okay, super.
See, this is just like any other knowledge we are seeking into.
Okay.
When I say any other, I'm not trying to bring it down. If I want to become something or if I want to know something, all that I need is the interest towards that.
Right.
Then I find out what it is and then taking further steps into it.
Okay.
This is in general applicable. But what is so special about the Vedic knowledge is, as we always know, Veda means a knowledge. A knowledge is not anybody's property. It is for everyone, and definitely anybody can access that. And today, at least in this era where we are, it is accessible to anyone. Nobody can stop from anybody to having that access to that. But is that all the scripture we are talking about the Veda or something the experience itself? That's where it differentiates. You may read the mantras, you can chant the mantras, I can do worship and do anything. But the essence of the Veda is what? What is the principle of it? To get into that, there are definitely prerequisites. So that we need to look into. I can say something 2-3 steps initially is, of course, we need to be ethically perfect.
Okay.
Ethics is something, I don't do something wrong and then start justifying that. These are something, being a good person, being a human is something. So without that, if you say that, no, I'll do all the things in the world what I want, or I cheat and do everything, and then but still I want to be a Vedic person or a spiritual person, no, it's impossible. You just forget it.
So, do you mean that even if you study that, just at the knowledge level, you may not be able to assimilate those essence and then execute that or implement it or become that? Does that mean? Because as you said, it's available for everybody. So somebody with such mindset where, they are probably deceiving themselves as they deceive others, and they would probably, like a parrot, chant few verses and say, even I am a Vedic scholar. So does it mean that they will not be at the soul level be able to reap the benefits of it?
100%. Today we have more of the scholars. A scholar is somebody because of my intelligence and then memory, I can memorize and then recite it back.
Yeah.
Those who are listening to that mantra, they may get such revelations. But the thing is, they get the joy of it. Whether I have the capacity to enjoy my own mantra chanting. Is this mantra making me happy or making it ananda? That's where Veda is more a experiential knowledge than just a knowledge. So when we are doing that, we need to have a exposure to the mantra meanings also. When I say mantra meaning is what it is. Sri Aurobindo brings it as something like a secrets of the Veda. In his book, The Secrets of the Veda, he reveals. Secret not in the physical sense, it is say that it is closed. No. It is for somebody who seeks for it and it opens itself. That's how. It is been beautifully explained in that book. And then there, the secret is, as and we go further deep into it, it reveals itself more. And it remains the secret because the moment we open up the secret, then the joy is completed. Yeah. But not the case in the Vedas. The more and more we go in, the still further the joy it is. So as long as there is a joy, there is a secret that's opening up, and then it goes on further, depending on to the highest potential where we go in.
And there's no limit to that.
This is infinite. This is what we call infinite. So here we need to clearly differentiate somebody who is not at all exposed to Veda. Doesn't mean that he don't know Veda. It is not necessary that you chant mantra and then get connected to that spirituality or highest, not necessarily. Right. But those who actually chant very well and beautifully, and then even very famous scholar, not necessarily spiritual. They have their own role of continuing the oral tradition of chanting the mantra. Equally important, because the very vibration of that makes a different sense, and then it helps. And then those who just give a lecture on the meanings of the mantras, it need not be spiritual, because they are giving from the book or whatever they are able to make out because of their scholarly intellect. But the best is the one who can experience it. Something like a mother at home who experiences the joy of the whole family.
Beautiful.
So this is the best way to look at the Vedas. I become the mother. and then everything opens up.
Doctor, as you share your insights, it's like a energy capsule that we are receiving, and it takes a little time for us to digest it. But this brings me to the next question. So when we hear people share their insights on the Vedic wisdom or their experience regarding the same, does that conversation help us release the knots of ignorance? Or is it necessary that you have to go through the text, those verses, you have to chant those mantras? I understand the significance. We've discussed this in the previous episodes. But then for a layman, for somebody who just enjoys being in that conversation, because sometimes being in that energy brings in some sort of an energy enhancement within us, which cannot be articulated effectively. So is it true? Is it possible?
Yes, yeah, I think with your question, you opened up many things what we need to understand, that is starting from the ignorance. Right. Ignorance doesn't mean stupidity. Today we say ignorant is somebody who doesn't know. In the Veda, we have two extremes of ignorance and knowledge. The supreme knowledge, and then the ignorant, or what we call it as completely in the potential one, completely manifested one. So this is what we call it as ignorance. The word is avidya or ajnana. This is jnana or vidya. This is avidya or ajnana. What it is it's in the potential form. Wow. So a baby need not be ignorant. Right. It is still in the potential form. Now it is, as a bud, it is opening up. This is what the Veda is trying. So when from the ignorance, that is from the individual, what we call it as a microcosm. Right. And then we have a macrocosm where there is an entire universe is also evolving or growing along with that. Then we have this concept of how out of the ignorance or the complete, I would say, the physical world. Physical world is representing the ignorance, like the earth. Right. Earth is again the life. But out of this earth, the life is emerging. That life energy is the Vayu or the Prana energy. And then we see that we have many theories how the creation has happened. It's been beautifully explained in Vedas, also in the Purusha Sukta, the 10.90, 10th mandala of 90th Sukta of Rig Veda, and then Asavamiya Sukta. There are beautifully mentioned. To put it in a very simple terms, the creation, it started, there are theories for it, and then when it is happening out of ignorance or this dark or the subconscious, it is trying to come out. So now where we are today, we are in a phase from that completely inert or the potential one, the life emerged out of, just like a baby taking the formation in the mother's womb. Wow. The mother's womb is called Garbha. Yes. Garbha, or even a deity in a temple is kept in the Garbhagudi. So it's the same. You see that how the synonym is. Then here, just like a baby is growing, it is physically it takes a form, and from there the prana comes out. Right. That's what we call it as starting with the plant life, which takes out the prana from the minerals in the earth itself. That is the only thing, autotrophs are the only one which can take the prana directly from the substance of the earth, from the minerals we know, or including the water. That is fed by animals. That's a prani, one which is actually moving, and that's a prana with a prani. That is the next step of evolution. Then the mind develops. The same thing happens in the baby also. Physically it is developed and it gets a prana. Then we call it as a baby is born. Then up to 1 year, there's not much of the mental activity. It's more of physical needs and then the vital needs, like feeding and then the excretory system, that's all. Then gradually the mind develops by 1 to 2 years. You see that the mind is almost developed. That is again, they reflect in the evolution in the macrocosm. So there the mind develops and it goes further. Now where we are today, the mind has gone to the further specialization. The purpose of the mind is individualization, because in the evolution we need individualization and specialization. Fortunately or unfortunately, it happened very well, but it has confined to oneself. Now all that I want for myself. Now I am not seeing the humanity has taken a back seat momentarily. Eventually it will come into the front, and then because of that we see ignorance something lower as inferior. Now there is something beyond the mind also where we are heading to. That's where we call it as an evolved soul or the revealed souls or revelations or the rishis. They belong to that realm. We want it or not, we have to go there. It's only a matter of time. And the process of doing this is called yoga. This it works as a catalyst. It makes us faster, and then it goes, you make the things going better. A catalyst in a chemical reaction helps in doing it faster one or slow it down. That's how the yoga is meant for it. And yoga doesn't mean something doing as exercise. A yoga, the best yoga is, I always quote it for a mother. Mother at home, she does the karma yoga, she has the jnana yoga, she has the bhakti yoga, she does everything for the family. She is same thing as the Mother Earth, or you take wherever it is. This is how we should be approaching into. when we are discussing such things, in the evolution, one word is very particular, is we need to be careful, is that something called as a consciousness. That itself is a separate topic, it's very beautiful. When you come to the consciousness, evolution is happening because I am getting access to those consciousness. Just like in office, I can access to get in, access card, and some rooms I can get into, some I may not be. So this is where I access that. I is within me, the growth within me spiritually is giving access to something like the physical world, vital world, mental world. It's already done. So we don't have to put any effort to that. Of course, many people wouldn't have even know that there are three such things. Still it continues.
Yes.
Now with my practices, or of course in that plane, the way the mantras, because they already gone. These rishis have gone through that.
Yes.
And then that helps us to take some hints from there. Where do I go to? When we are actually doing that, in the microcosm it is happening, the same thing is happening in the macrocosm, in the conscious level, where the energy is, as you said, the knots which are there, which is holding us back. Then it is an integral approach of taking the whole consciousness higher and towards that highest divinity.
So everything is moving towards it.
Definitely. The whole idea of having, the very purpose of having a definite difficulty or a problem in the life is to push forward. If we don't have a challenge, we call it in corporate, we call challenge or opportunity. Or otherwise we call it a problem or a hindrance. The whole purpose of it is it gives a push. If somebody doesn't stop me, then I will not go further. Most of the time. That's a Rajoguna. This is how it is going on.
To just put it on a lighter note, problem or ignorance was never treated this beautifully in our society, especially when we were students. So I was just thinking, if Vedic knowledge can be brought into our educational system, particularly for our teachers, mentors and parents, I think the whole upbringing of a child can be so much more profound. Thank you so much, Doctor. It's really beautiful to know such subtle things which is there in our Vedic system that can be so easily and gracefully incorporated in our daily life. Well, viewers, with all the beautiful insights that's been shared by our doctor, with so much love and compassion for all of us, I'm sure by now you understand that most of our metaphysical questions can be easily understood by just putting a little bit of interest in understanding our Vedic essence. I'm sure most of you all with our previous episodes initiated this journey. If you're willing to know more about such concepts, do suggest us in the comment box. And if you like this information, kindly share with your loved ones and do not forget to subscribe to our channel. We'll meet you again with another useful insight on Vedic wisdom and spirituality. Until then, do take care of yourself. Namaste. Thank you very much again, Doctor.
Namaste.